Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I hope that you are very well. My name is Lizzie and today I've got some tips to help you get out of a reading slump. I hope you can see me okay. I realise the white walls, white bedding, white jumper combo was not the best. So I've gone for like the warmest lighting possible to try to, I don't know, add some colour to my face. So hopefully it's okay. Now, we have all come up against the reading slump at one time or another. I haven't had a proper reading slump in a long time. I managed to sort of drag myself out every time I can feel it coming on. I've definitely had like years long reading slumps in like my late teens, but yeah, it's been a while since I've had a proper big reading slump. But I reckon it's because I've managed to kind of pull myself out of them. And I've got some tips for you to help you if you were in a reading slump, if you were ever in one again, on getting out of one. So tip number 1, and I feel like this is something that I mention every single time I have any kind of like tips or advice on reading video, and that is work out why you're in that reading slump. Work out how you got there and why you want to get out of it or how you want to get out of it. Because the thing that sent you into the reading slump might be that will change how you get out of it, If it's that you've read too many very similar books and you're just getting bogged down, that's an easy fix, change genre. If you're just a bit burnt out, then have a break. If you're feeling the pressure from internet bookishness, again, just have a little break. It's fine. It's really fine. And this goes for all sorts of things. I know I mentioned it in my classics video. I probably mentioned it in my arcs video. And when I eventually get round to my reading more video, I will mention it again, that we can put too much pressure on ourselves and feel like we are expected to do a certain amount of reading, etc. And if you can figure out why you want to read more, why you are in a reading slump and why you want to get out of it, that will help you find the tools to do so. So, now we got that tip number 1 out of the way. Tip number 2 is to continue reading a series. And when I say that I've managed to like drag myself out of all the reading slumps I've had recently, the Bridgerton books, which there is a full series review coming eventually. Those books, the quality varies, but once I started reading one, I was like, I was like, this is me gone now for the next 2 to 3 hours until I finish reading this book. Just, could not put them down. And I twigged that early on, so I saved them for when I could feel a reading slump coming on, when I was a little bit like, oh, I don't want to read today, but I feel bad for not reading, or, oh, I haven't finished a book in however long. I would just pick up a Bridgerton book and that would fix it. The same goes for authors you already enjoy. If you know you enjoy their writing and getting sort of stuck straight into the story with their writing, then that's an obvious go-to to fix a reading slump. But I think particularly a series, because you don't have so much exposition, you know the world, you know the characters, you can just start it and get stuck straight in. So yes, that's my main tip. That's how I usually get out of a reading slump. The same goes for rereading books. If you have a favourite book that you know you won't be able to put down, that you'd be desperate to read as soon as you start it, then that's another good way of getting out of that reading slump. Tip number 3, and this is kind of the opposite of the previous one, but that is to switch genres. Choose a different genre. Switch it up. Do something completely different. If you're reading so much fantasy and you just can't take any more world building right now, switch it up. Read a different genre. If the various tropes of romance are just starting to feel a little bit overdone, switch it up and come back to it, switch genre, just vary it up. Maybe you just feeling like nothing's quite hitting the spot, like you want to get your teeth really stuck into something and most fiction books just aren't doing it for you, then read a non-fiction book. Whatever it is, maybe the thing that isn't appealing to you about the books you're picking up is the genre or a particular trope or a subgenre. So what is it that you're looking for right now, and find the genre that suits it. And kind of piggybacking off that one is my fourth tip, which is to change the format. I will have up to 3 books on the go at once. Sometimes I'm just reading them one book. Sometimes I have 2 or 3. And so often it will be a physical book and a Kindle book and an audio book. Because sometimes you're just not in the mood for one of those things, and that's okay. And you have to switch it up, and that is okay. I don't know about anyone else. I especially find this with Kindle books. If I read too many Kindle books in a short space of time, then I find it really hard to get into the next one. I think there's something about, and don't get me wrong, I love my Kindle, but there is something about the physical book, because each physical book is a different object. You can kind of psychologically, literally you put one down and you pick a different one up again, and you can associate the story and the characters or whatever the book is about with that physical object. And you don't have that with Kindle. So sometimes if I do read too many Kindle books in a really short space of time, then I do struggle, because in my mind they're all kind of starting to mush into one and I just need a little bit of a break. So then I'll pick up a physical book before I go back to another Kindle book. Same with audiobooks. Sometimes I just don't have the attention span to sit down and read something, so I put my audiobook on and I say that I do housework. Realistically, I play Dreamlight Valley on my Switch, but I do something else while I'm listening to the audiobook, and then I'm still reading. You know, I'm still experiencing that story, still experiencing that book, and then when I'm in a different frame of mind, I will sit down and read an actual physical book or Kindle book. And the final little tip that I have for you today is to buddy read. This can take many forms. It might be that you're in a book club and you have a book that you're all going to read that month. It might be that you are joining a readathon. It might be that you and a friend decide to read a book literally chapter by chapter together, so you set yourself a certain number of pages each day, or just that you decide you're both going to read the book and then next time you see each other you're going to catch up about it. Whatever it is, even if it's just joining reading sprints, then, I mean, reading is generally a very introverted, antisocial activity, and adding in a little bit of a social element can make it easier if you are struggling to get out of a reading slump. Just the knowledge that other people are reading with you, even if they're not in the same room, can be very comforting, and it's really nice to, like, I don't know, just know that you're sharing that activity with someone else. And especially if you do like a full-on with a friend buddy read, you can keep each other accountable, or chat to someone else who's read the book or is further ahead, because they might say, you know what, chapter 4 was a slog, but when you get to chapter 5, oh boy, does it pick up. So, you know, utilise the social aspect of reading. So there they are, a very short little video from me today, but I hope you got some good tips on how to get out of your next reading slump. Let me know in the comments what are your tips for getting out of a reading slump. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and you can click on subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day, and ta-ra for now.